morning, and I'm going to show you about a collaboration and education opportunity for people in finance. We're going to be building out a new curriculum, and I'm Rebecca Lang, and I'm with Grand Canyon University. So for the program selection, we will be looking at personal finance and building out a class for this. This is a field that's very lucrative because money can oftentimes go both ways, and when you are investing, wise people will invest, and oftentimes you'll invest in stocks or companies or individuals, and in those places it can change very quickly, and so it is very important to have people who are professionals in this field when creating a curriculum to go along with financial advising, because it is something that you need the experience in order to understand. So we will be pairing with both financial advisors, corporate financial advisors, some bankers in order to make this selection work well. Analysis is very important in finance. Analysis is needed when they are determining when to invest and when not to invest. Financial advisors have a very difficult job because they're investing in something that can change without much notice. And in that, they have to keep the money that they're investing for their clients steady. So although the stock market rises and falls, they're trying to keep a steady growth income for their clients. And so there's a lot of analysis involved. It's very math based, which is why we're choosing to work on this with my career in mathematics. And so for the committee advisors, we will start by having some financial advisors in it. First, we'll have a personal financial advisor. So personal financial advisors have a lot of experience working with private clients. Typically, they create a book of clients and just work with those throughout their career. They have expansive experience working with a lot of variety of clients. Every client is a little bit different. They have different needs, different requests. So their experience is very helpful for our committee because they understand almost the customer service aspect of financial advising. We will also pull in a corporate financial advisor. This corporate financial advisor specifically works for one company, or sometimes they can work for a couple depending on the size of the company. But they will have a better opportunity of working with a team and working together with both CFO, which is their chief financial officer, or the COO, which is the chief operating officer of the company, in order to use their increased money well. So that way it's just not sitting, but it's actually going in to make them more money by maybe investing in other companies as well, or investing in themselves. So they have very different skill sets, and that's why I wanted to have both a corporate financial advisor and a personal financial advisor on our. Addition to that, I want to have a private client banker. So private client bankers work with individuals. They have a very unique job where anyone really can walk into the bank and request a meeting with the banker. And so they see people who are deep in debt all the way to people who are making millions. And so they have a unique aspect, and they also see more clients than, let's say, a private financial advisor would see, or a corporate financial advisor, because private financial advisors might work with maybe 100 or so people, and a corporate financial advisor will most likely be working with 1 to 5 companies, depending on the size of those companies. And so this private client banker works with a lot of people. They're not necessarily the only banker that this one person is going to have. And so they get to see a large variety, which is really helpful for our committee and will be beneficial for our students to have that experience being put into that curriculum. So some of our goals, we want to create an expansive curriculum for financial advising. A lot of colleges don't offer a financial advising class at the moment, and so we're creating this new class at the university level. And then in addition to that, we're going to lay out a plan for the curriculum. So creating that plan would be like starting with emails, getting things together, letting the people know or our committee members know when we are meeting, what the goal is in our meetings, making sure we get some information from our stakeholders before we start. I would like to send out a poll to the students to see if they would be interested in taking a class like this, and figuring out student interest, is the funding there for it, things of that nature. So creating this plan to create this curriculum would be our first step. In addition to that, the goal is to have this community of sharing. And so we want to share experiences and get creative in that. In order to foster that, I want to begin each meeting with a question that makes them think. One of the examples that I came up with was, what is one of the greatest challenges in your field? Well, this is unique because each of these members of the committee are in a different field, and so they've seen different sides and different aspects to the financial advising, and so they can each bring up one of their challenges, and we can incorporate that into the curriculum, or maybe we can just talk about it, and it can be an experience that helps us begin to think creatively and outside of the box. Additionally, as the person who is overseeing this committee, I would bring in other information each week as well, looking at, okay, what do other fields do that might be a little bit different than the field that they're in, and would that be beneficial to teach about that as well in this curriculum, or is that not beneficial? Is there additional things that they need to learn? Do our students need to have Excel readiness? Do they need to have different skills? Is there a way we can build that into the curriculum with the application that these people who are out in the field every day have? Just a reminder that communication is key here. And with that, we have a little bit of a scenario that came up in the building of this. We had an adjunct faculty member who didn't feel very supported. He's also has a background in finance and personal finance, and is having trouble connecting with some of the other faculty members, making sure he's doing what he is supposed to be doing. And in addition to that, seeking some guidance on how to effectively teach the curriculum, and might be struggling a little bit with like how to deal with classroom management and things of that nature. And so by becoming aware of this adjunct faculty's situation, I've decided to incorporate him in our group as well, in our committee, in order to help get a fuller understanding of how we can be supporting our teachers in it. I think you can have a very expansive curriculum, but if it doesn't actually meet the teacher's needs, then it's not going to be used to its full extent. And so someone like this who maybe is already struggling a little bit could be the perfect person to bring in to our team, in order to have them look at our curriculum and see, okay, well, this doesn't make sense from a teacher's perspective. How can we change that? So I'm excited to add him to the committee. Some of the needs within our collaborational group, well, we need to address the curriculum. We need to make sure it's clear. From this situation, I recognize it's also crucial to have different collaboration aspects into the curriculum, to have things that could help the teacher or the adjunct teach successfully. So incorporating having like a teacher end of the curriculum and a student end of the curriculum, and in the teacher side, incorporating projects that they could do, and incorporating different resources that they could pull from to teach the curriculum, but also just to help them get their feet on the ground with like classroom management, and knowing, okay, who do I go to for what in the university? Because is such an expansive faculty at the university, it can be difficult to know where to go. So we will incorporate that into the curriculum as well, and I think the adjunct could be a very helpful person and just pointing out where maybe our curriculum has gone wrong in the past and how we can better it for our future. The other thing I want to include is a project-based learning. So we have studies that have shown that project-based learning are extremely beneficial for students. It helps them understand how it affects their world. And so wanting to incorporate that project-based learning and have a few options for projects, like maybe the student who's in this class doesn't want to be a financial advisor but wants to be a banker or wants to go into a different realm of finance or whatever. And so having a few options that they can choose from so they can experience these different careers based on their project. And I think the committee members that we have will be very crucial in creating beneficial projects for them. In addition, trying to bring more collaboration into the school. And so collaborating with our department specifically to bring unity, and unity is a key in the educational realm, and it's very beneficial for our students too when we as a team of faculty members are unified. In addition, I want to talk about a few stakeholders. One of the stakeholders that will be involved in this process is the department head. He's a large stakeholder. This project reflects his leadership because it's underneath him. And so due to this, he'll be reviewing the curriculum before we publish it. Another one of our stakeholders is our students. This is our largest group of stakeholders, and they would be the ones who would be the largest impacted by the changes in the curriculum because this is what they are learning from. And so due to this, I also want to pull some students into this process so they can help us build the curriculum to best suit them. Some communication tools. We will be using the app Slack to communicate back and forth throughout this process. The reason why we chose Slack is that it is an easy to use app. It facilitates communication. And so one of the things we want to do is foster just open-ended communication between team members. And so it's a great way that team members can just say, hey, this came up at work today, and it made me think about the project that we're doing. Let's talk about that the next time we meet, and things of that nature, just to keep that communication open. In addition to this, I will use Slack to post the information for each week. So weekly information before the meeting, send out the minutes after the meeting, send additional resources that I think would be beneficial for them to see. So all of that will be done in Slack. And the goal behind that is that they know where everything is. If they need to find a resource, they just go there, they can open it up, they can find it. Instead of like, I feel like in emails, things can get lost and get confusing. And so trying to streamline everything through one portal. In addition, we'll be using Zoom. I prefer to be in ground, but it's crucial that every single one of these team members can make it to each meeting, and we will have a decent amount of meetings, as you'll see in the next slide. And so we'll have Zoom. Well, our first meeting will be all on ground. We'll all meet together. I'll bring like refreshments and things of that nature, really to start to build that community aspect. And I want our team members to get close together and feel comfortable sharing about their experiences in their field and things of that nature. And I think the on ground in person has a huge impact there. But in order to ensure that the committee members can make it to the meetings, we will have Zoom as an option. So they can come in person or they can meet on Zoom for the following meetings. So some meeting information. So this is a process, and so it's going to take a few meetings. So to begin, we're going to have meetings once a week for 4 weeks. And I'll send out the agenda before each meeting, and that is where we will just week by week go through the curriculum. If it's an 8-week class, we would probably try to build out 2 weeks at a time. So by that end of the 4 weeks, we would have all 8 weeks finished. And then in addition to that, the curriculum will then move into an experimental phase. So we are going to pull around 20 to 40 students to experiment in the with the curriculum. And so they'll go through, they'll attempt some of the assignments, they'll do some of the discussion questions, they'll collaborate together on different group projects and things of that nature. And that will be probably an additional 4-week testing period. During that 4-week testing period, the committee members do not need to be super involved. If they'd like to, they can. But that would be more like me and maybe the adjunct faculty working with these students to see how they're responding to the curriculum we have created. After getting their feedback on the curriculum, we will rejoin meeting as a committee for 2 more weeks. And then during that time, we will make final edits. There will be more editing, you know. So edits to the curriculum, and we will review it until we find that we think it's ready for posting. And then we will have the department head review it and also send it back notes, and we can then make any additional changes and then begin implementing it into the class. So this is probably about a 3-month process, and so that's why we wanted to have the Zooms as an option, because it's hard, you know, people go out of town and things of that nature. Here are the references for my presentation, and thank you for watching and being a part of it. Have a great day.